Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great humility and profound gratitude that I stand before you today to speak on a subject that touches the core of our existence. Change the way you see yourself. The way we perceive ourselves is not merely a matter of self-esteem or confidence, it is the lens through which we view the world, the foundation upon which we build our dreams, and the compass that directs our journey through life. Our self-perception shapes our thoughts, influences our actions, and ultimately defines the destiny that awaits us. Too often, we are trapped within the walls of self-doubt, bound by the chains of fear, and confined by the limitations that others or society have imposed upon us. We look in the mirror and see not the reflection of infinite potential, but the scars of our failures and the echoes of our past mistakes. We measure our worth by worldly standards, by wealth, appearance, or achievements, and when we fall short of these fleeting expectations, we begin to believe that we are inadequate, unworthy, and incapable of greatness. But, my friends, I am here to tell you that this is not the truth. The truth is that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You were created with a divine purpose and endowed with gifts that are unique to you alone. The value of your soul is not determined by the opinions of others or the circumstances of your past. Your worth is rooted in something far greater, something eternal and unchanging. It is time to cast off the veil of self-deception and embrace the truth of who you truly are. You are not defined by your failures, your insecurities, or your shortcomings. You are defined by the strength that lies within you, the love that flows from your heart, and the light that shines from your spirit. You see, the greatest battle we will ever fight is not against the world around us, but against the voices within us that tell us we are not enough. The enemy of our soul seeks to fill our minds with doubt, fear, and shame. He whispers lies that diminish our value and blind us to the greatness that resides within. But we must stand firm against these lies and renew our minds with truth. When we begin to see ourselves through the eyes of our Creator, everything changes. We no longer see brokenness. We see beauty in our struggles and purpose in our pain. We no longer see weakness. We see strength rising from within. We no longer see failure. We see lessons that prepare us for greater victories ahead. My friends, I urge you to lift your eyes beyond the limitations of this world and see yourself as you were meant to be. A vessel of love, a beacon of hope, and a light in the darkness. For when you change the way you see yourself, you will change the way you live, the way you love, and the way you impact the world around you. There are countless souls who have walked this earth burdened by the weight of self-condemnation, but when they encountered the truth, their lives were transformed. Consider the story of a young man who was told he would never amount to anything. He was rejected by his peers, mocked for his dreams, and plagued by self-doubt. Yet, in the depths of his despair, he chose to believe that he was created for something greater. He embraced his calling, pursued his purpose, and went on to change the world. That young man could be you. That young woman could be you. No matter where you have been or what you have done, there is hope for a new beginning. There is grace that covers your past and strength that empowers your future. But to experience this transformation, you must first surrender the false image you have built of yourself. You must lay down the burdens of shame and fear and allow the truth to take root in your heart. When you see yourself as a masterpiece, crafted by the hands of the Creator, you will walk with confidence and boldness. You will rise above adversity and step into the destiny that was prepared for you from the foundation of the world. I implore you, do not let the voices of this world define you. Do not let the failures of yesterday dictate your tomorrow. Do not let fear hold you captive. Instead, open your heart to the truth and allow your vision to be transformed. For when you change the way you see yourself, you will not only find freedom from the chains that bind you, but you will become a light that leads others to freedom as well. You will inspire those who are lost, uplift those who are weary, and empower those who are broken. Your life will become a testimony of hope and a living reflection of grace. My friends, this is not merely a message of motivation. It is a call to transformation. It is an invitation to step out of the shadows and into the fullness of your identity. It is a challenge to reject the lies that have held you captive and embrace the truth that will set you free. For too long, we have allowed the world to tell us who we are. We have allowed our mistakes to define us and our fears to control us. But today, I declare that the time has come for a new beginning. The time has come to rise up and see ourselves as we were created to be, fearless, strong, and victorious. And when you begin to walk in this truth, you will no longer live in defeat. You will no longer be a prisoner of your past. You will walk in victory, live with purpose, and impact the world in ways you never thought possible. So I say to you, lift your eyes, lift your heart, lift your spirit, for the chains of self-doubt are broken and the doors of freedom are open. Walk boldly into the future that awaits you. Believe in the greatness that resides within you, and never forget that you were created for a purpose that is far beyond what this world can comprehend. When you change the way you see yourself, you will change the way you see others. You will love with greater compassion, serve with deeper humility, and lead with unwavering integrity. You will become a beacon of hope in a world that is desperate for truth and light. And so, my friends, I leave you with this. Believe in the beauty that lies within you. Embrace the purpose that was destined for you, and walk with the confidence that comes from knowing that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Let us change the way we see ourselves, and in doing so, we will change the world. And when the world tells you that you are not enough, when the voices of doubt and fear echo in your mind, stand firm in the truth that you are more than conquerors. For the strength that resides within you is not of this world. It is eternal, unshakable, and victorious. You see, the world will always seek to define you by your past, by your mistakes, and by your limitations. But when you change the way you see yourself, you will no longer be bound by the chains of your history. You will no longer be held captive by fear, rejection, or failure. You will rise above the opinions of others and walk boldly in the truth of who you were created to be. My friends, I ask you this. How can we expect to reach the heights of our calling if we are trapped in the prison of self-doubt? How can we expect to love others when we have not yet learned to love ourselves? How can we expect to fulfill our purpose when we refuse to see the value that has been placed within us? It is time to break free from the lies that have bound us for so long. It is time to silence the voices of insecurity and defeat. It is time to embrace the truth that we are children of light, created with purpose and destined for greatness. You were not created to live in fear. You were not designed to walk in shame. You were not meant to be bound by the opinions of others. You were created to walk in freedom, to live in joy, and to shine with a light that darkness cannot overcome. But this transformation begins within. It begins with the renewing of your mind. It begins when you stop seeing yourself as the world sees you and start seeing yourself as your Creator sees you, precious, loved, and full of divine purpose. Imagine for a moment what would happen if you fully embraced this truth. Imagine the freedom that would flood your soul. Imagine the boldness that would fill your heart. Imagine the impact you could make on the lives of those around you. There are people in this world who are waiting for you to step into your calling. There are lives that will be changed because of the gifts and talents that have been placed within you. There are hearts that will be healed through the love and compassion that flows from you. But you cannot walk in this calling if you are bound by self-doubt. You cannot fulfill your purpose if you are enslaved to fear. You cannot reach your destiny if you are still clinging to the lies of the past. It is time to rise up. It is time to walk in truth. It is time to see yourself as you truly are, chosen, loved, and destined for greatness. You may ask, but how can I change the way I see myself when I have failed so many times? How can I believe in my worth when others have rejected me? How can I embrace this truth when I feel broken and unworthy? My friends, the answer is simple. You must let go of the old and embrace the new. You must release the lies and receive the truth. You must stop looking at yourself through the lens of your past and start looking at yourself through the eyes of grace. For when you see yourself through the eyes of grace, you will no longer be defined by your failures. You will be defined by your potential. You will no longer be bound by your mistakes. You will be set free by the power of redemption. And when you begin to walk in this truth, everything will change. Your thoughts will change. Your words will change. Your actions will change. Your very presence will radiate with hope and confidence. Do you know why so many people in this world are living in fear and defeat? It is because they have believed the lie that they are not enough. They have accepted the false identity that the world has placed upon them. They have allowed their past to define their future. But that is not your story. That is not your destiny. You were created for more. You were created to soar. You were created to be a light in the darkness, a voice of truth in a world of confusion, and a vessel of love in a world filled with hate. But to walk in this calling, you must first change the way you see yourself. You must see yourself as victorious, even when the world calls you a failure. You must see yourself as loved, even when others reject you. You must see yourself as chosen, even when you feel forgotten. And when you embrace this truth, you will no longer live in fear. You will no longer be controlled by the opinions of others. You will no longer be bound by the chains of your past. You will rise. You will overcome. You will fulfill the purpose for which you were created. For too long, we have allowed fear to dictate our action. We have allowed doubt to silence our voices. We have allowed insecurity to rob us of the joy and peace that was meant to be ours. But today, I declare that those days are over. Today, we break free from the lies that have held us captive. Today, we embrace the truth that sets us free. Today, we choose to see ourselves through the eyes of grace, and we step boldly into the destiny that awaits us. And when you do this, my friends, you will not only change your own life, you will change the lives of those around you. You will inspire others to rise above their own limitations. You will empower those who have lost hope. You will become a beacon of light in a world that is desperate for truth. So I ask you, will you rise? Will you believe in the greatness that lies within you? Will you cast off the lies of the past and walk in the truth of who you are created to be? The choice is yours. But I assure you, when you change the way you see yourself, you will change your life. And when you change your life, you will change the world. And when you change the world within you, you will begin to witness the world around you transforming as well. For the greatest battles are not fought on the fields of war, nor in the courts of men, but in the minds and hearts of individuals who either rise in truth or fall in defeat. You see, the world has conditioned us to measure our worth by the standards of success, wealth, appearance, and the approval of others. But let me tell you, my friends, these are fleeting shadows that vanish with the winds of time. They hold no eternal value. They offer no lasting peace. But when you anchor your identity in truth, when you see yourself as a soul created with divine purpose, nothing, no rejection, no failure, no hardship, can strip you of your worth. For your value is not rooted in what you have done or what you possess. It is rooted in who you are and who you were created to become. So I ask you today, what voice have you been listening to? Whose opinion have you allowed to shape your identity? Is it the voice of fear that tells you you're not enough? Is it the voice of shame that reminds you of your past mistakes? Or is it the voice of doubt that says you'll never accomplish your dreams? My friends, these voices do not speak the truth. They are chains that bind the soul, shadows that darken the mind, and lies that keep us from walking in freedom. But there is another voice, a voice that calls you by name, a voice that says, you are loved, you are chosen, you are created for a purpose far greater than you can imagine. This is the voice of truth. And when you begin to listen to that voice, when you begin to align your thoughts with the truth of who you are, your entire life will begin to change. You will no longer fear the opinions of others. You will no longer live in the shadow of your failures. You will no longer be held captive by your insecurities. Instead, you will rise with confidence, you will walk with boldness, you will speak with authority, and you will love with a heart that reflects grace and compassion. But this transformation does not come by striving. It does not come by chasing success or seeking validation from the world. No, it comes from within. It comes from renewing your mind and transforming the way you see yourself. I tell you today, if you want to change your life, you must first change the way you see yourself. You must stop seeing yourself as ordinary and start seeing yourself as extraordinary. You must stop seeing yourself as weak and start seeing yourself as strong. You must stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as victorious. You see, true transformation is not about changing your circumstances. It is about changing your perspective. For there are those who walk through life with wealth, fame, and success, yet they are bound by fear and insecurity. And there are those who have faced rejection, poverty, and hardship, yet they walk with peace, confidence, and joy. What is the difference between the two? It is not their circumstances, it is the way they see themselves. One has allowed the world to define them, while the other has embraced the truth of who they truly are. My friends, when you begin to see yourself through the eyes of truth, you will no longer live in fear of failure. For failure is not the end, it is the classroom in which wisdom is born. You will no longer fear rejection, for rejection is not a reflection of your worth, it is simply redirection toward a greater purpose. You will no longer fear weakness, for in your weakness strength is revealed. And you will no longer fear the future, for your future is not determined by the limitations of this world. It is held in the hands of the one who created you. I want to tell you something that could change your life forever. The most powerful force on this earth is not what others say about you, nor what circumstances you face. It is what you believe about yourself. For as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If you believe you are weak, you will walk in weakness. If you believe you are unworthy, you will live in shame. If you believe you are destined for failure, you will never rise to your potential. But if you believe you are chosen, if you believe you are loved, if you believe you are created for greatness, then nothing on this earth can stop you from fulfilling your purpose. History has proven this truth time and time again. Consider the great leaders, inventors, and pioneers who have shaped this world. Many of them were once rejected, ridiculed, and told they would never succeed. Yet they refused to let the world define them. They saw something greater within themselves. They believed in their vision even when no one else did. And because they changed the way they saw themselves, they changed the world. So I ask you, what will your story be? Will you allow the voices of doubt and fear to hold you back? Or will you rise up and embrace the truth that you are more than enough? That you are created with a purpose that no one else on this earth can fulfill. My friends, you are not placed on this earth to simply exist. You are not meant to live in fear, bound by insecurity and self-doubt. You were created to thrive. You were created to lead. You were created to make a difference in the lives of those around you. But it all begins with how you see yourself. If you want to change your future, change your vision. If you want to break free from fear, change your belief system. If you want to walk in victory, change the way you see yourself. For when you see yourself as you truly are, loved, chosen, and destined for greatness, you will rise above the storms of life. You will overcome every obstacle. You will fulfill the purpose that was placed within you from the very beginning of time. And when that transformation takes place within you, the world will never be the same. And when this transformation begins within you, the world will take notice. For a man or woman who knows their worth, who walks with the confidence of truth, and who stands firm in their identity is unstoppable. You see, the world is filled with people who live in the shadows of fear and insecurity. They hide behind masks of perfection, seeking approval and validation from others. But beneath those masks lies a heart that is longing for freedom, longing for purpose, longing for truth. And when you, my friends, step into the truth of who you are, when you begin to walk with the boldness of someone who knows they are created for greatness, your very presence will inspire others to do the same. You will become a light in the darkness. You will become a voice of hope for the broken. You will become a living testimony that it is possible to rise above rejection, failure, and fear. But hear me when I say this. The journey to changing the way you see yourself is not always easy. The world will try to pull you back into the old patterns of thinking. The voices of doubt will try to whisper in your ear. The memories of past failures will try to haunt you. But in those moments, you must stand firm. You must remind yourself of the truth. You must declare, I am not defined by my past. I am not defined by my failures. I am not defined by the opinions of others. I am who I was created to be, and I will fulfill the purpose for which I was placed on this earth. My friends, this is not positive thinking. This is not empty motivation. This is truth. For when you begin to change the way you see yourself, you are aligning your mind with the reality of who you were created to be. And when your mind is renewed, your actions will follow, your decisions will follow, your destiny will follow. Let me share with you a truth that has transformed the lives of countless men and women throughout history. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you think you are weak, you will live in weakness. If you think you are a failure, you will make decisions that lead to failure. If you think you are unworthy, you will settle for less than what you were destined for. But when you begin to see yourself as strong, you will find the strength to overcome. When you see yourself as capable, you will begin to accomplish what others said was impossible. When you see yourself as worthy, you will begin to walk in the confidence of someone who knows they have a purpose. This is the power of a transformed mind. You see, the battlefield is not in the world around you, it is in your mind. And when you win the battle in your mind, you will see victory in your life. But I must warn you, my friends, there will be moments when the enemy of your soul will try to remind you of your past. He will try to resurrect the pain of your failures. He will try to whisper lies that you are not enough, that you are not worthy, that you will never change. But in those moments, you must stand on the truth. You must speak to those lies and say, I am not who I used to be. I am redeemed. I am transformed. I am walking in a new identity. For when you speak truth over your life, the lies will lose their power. When you declare victory over your life, fear will flee. When you see yourself as more than a conqueror, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. My friends, I tell you today with great conviction, your identity is not found in your past. Your identity is not found in your mistakes. Your identity is not found in the opinions of others. Your identity is found in the truth of who you were created to be. And when you begin to see yourself through that truth, doors will open that no man can shut. Opportunities that seemed impossible will come to pass. Strength that you never knew you had will rise within you. Fear will lose its grip. Shame will lose its hold, and you will step into the fullness of your destiny. You see, when a person truly changes the way they see themselves, they no longer live as victims of circumstance. They become leaders. They become world changers. They become those who lift others out of darkness and into the light of hope and purpose. Look around you, my friends. Look at the world today. It is filled with people who are broken, people who are bound by fear and doubt, people who have lost hope. And do you know what this world is waiting for? It is waiting for men and women who will rise up and walk in the truth of who they are. It is waiting for people who will break free from the chains of fear and insecurity and step boldly into their calling. It is waiting for those who will see themselves as vessels of light and hope in a world filled with darkness and despair. And that, my friends, is who you were created to be. You were created to shine. You were created to lead, you were created to love and to serve, to inspire and to heal, to build and to restore. But it all begins with how you see yourself. So I ask you, will you continue to live under the shadow of fear and doubt, or will you rise up and see yourself as you truly are, strong, capable, chosen, victorious? The choice is yours. But I tell you this, the moment you choose to change the way you see yourself, your life will no longer be the same. You will no longer be bound by fear. You will no longer be limited by your past. You will no longer be held back by the words and opinions of others. You will walk in freedom. You will live with purpose. You will impact lives in ways you never thought possible. Because when you change the way you see yourself, you will change the way you live. And when you change the way you live, you will change the world. And when you begin to change the world, not through force, not through fame, not through wealth, but through the power of a transformed heart and mind, you will leave a legacy that cannot be erased. You see, my friends, true transformation does not come from external circumstances. It does not come from achieving success in the eyes of the world. It comes from within. It comes from aligning your vision with the truth of who you are destined to be from the very beginning of time. I tell you, the world is filled with people who are living beneath their potential, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack vision. They have allowed the wounds of their past to define them. They have allowed the opinions of others to limit them. They have allowed fear to keep them from stepping into the greatness that lies within them. But I stand before you today to declare that you were made for more. You are not created to simply survive this life. You are created to thrive. You are created to lead. You are created to make an impact that will echo for generations to come. But hear me when I say this, that transformation will not happen by accident. It will not come by simply wishing for a better life. It will come when you make a decision to change the way you see yourself. It will come when you choose to stop seeing yourself through the lens of failure and start seeing yourself through the eyes of purpose. It will come when you stop identifying with your weaknesses and start walking in the strength that has been placed within you. It will come when you stop looking to the world for approval and begin to understand that your worth was never meant to be defined by this world in the first place. Oh, how many people live their entire lives trapped in fear, bound by insecurity, and weighed down by shame, not because they lack potential, not because they lack opportunity, but because they never learned to see themselves as they truly are. But I believe that tonight something is changing. I believe that tonight there are hearts being awakened. I believe that tonight chains are being broken and minds are being renewed. Because when truth enters a man's heart, darkness must flee. When truth fills a woman's mind, fear loses its grip. When truth takes root in your soul, you will rise up and become unstoppable. You see, the world has told you that you are too broken, but truth says you are redeemed. The world has told you that you are too weak, but truth says in your weakness, strength is made perfect. The world has told you that your past disqualifies you. The truth says your past was preparation for your purpose. The world has told you that you will never be enough, but truth declares you are fearfully and wonderfully made. My friends, it is not the world that defines you. It is not your failures that define you. It is not the opinions of others that define you. You are defined by the one who created you. And when you begin to see yourself through that truth, everything changes. Your confidence will rise, your fear will fall, your purpose will be revealed, and you will begin to walk in a strength that this world cannot explain. But hear me when I say this. There will be moments when the world will try to pull you back. There will be moments when doubt will creep in. There will be moments when the voices of fear and insecurity will try to remind you of who you used to be. But in those moments, you must stand on truth. In those moments, you must declare, I am not who I used to be. I am transformed. I am chosen. I am destined for greatness. And when you begin to walk in that truth, doors will open that no man can shut. Opportunities that seemed impossible will come to pass. And your life will become a testimony that it is never too late to change. It is never too late to rise. And it is never too late to fulfill the purpose for which you were created. But it all begins with how you see yourself. My friends, when you leave this place tonight, the world around you may not look different. Your circumstances may not immediately change. The challenges you face may still stand before you. But if you change the way you see yourself, if you begin to walk with the confidence of one who knows they were created for a purpose, if you begin to speak words of life and truth over your future, if you begin to see yourself not through the eyes of fear, but through the eyes of faith, then mark my words, your life will never be the same. For there is no mountain that cannot be moved by faith. There is no past that cannot be redeemed by grace. And there is no life that cannot be transformed when you begin to see yourself as you were meant to be. So I ask you tonight, will you continue to live beneath your potential? Will you continue to allow fear and doubt to define you, or will you rise up? Will you break free? Will you step into the fullness of who you were created to be? The world is waiting for you to rise. Your family is waiting for you to rise. Your generation is waiting for you to rise. But it all begins with how you see yourself. And when you rise up, not by the strength of your own hands, not by the approval of men, but by the power of truth that resides within you, there will be no limit to what you can accomplish. You see, my friends, the world has tried to teach us that transformation comes from changing our circumstances. If I could just make more money, if I could just be accepted by others, if I could just escape my past. But the truth is, external change is only temporary. You can gain wealth and still feel empty. You can receive applause and still feel unworthy. You can change your environment and still be trapped in the prison of your own mind. Because true freedom does not come from changing what's around you. It comes from changing what is within you. It comes when you begin to see yourself through the eyes of truth. It comes when you stop identifying with your failures and start identifying with your purpose. It comes when you stop seeing yourself as broken and begin to see yourself as whole. It comes when you stop seeing yourself as powerless and begin to understand that within you lies the power to overcome, to create, to lead, and to inspire. Let me tell you this, there is greatness within you. There is strength within you that has not yet been tapped. There are dreams within you that are waiting to be awakened. There are gifts and talents within you that have been buried beneath fear, rejection, and self-doubt. And tonight I declare that it is time for you to rise. It is time for you to shake off the lies that have held you back. It is time for you to step into the fullness of your destiny. It is time for you to walk in the authority that was placed within you before the foundations of the world. But listen closely, my friends. No one else can do this for you. No one else can make the decision to change the way you see yourself. No one else can fight the battle that is taking place in your mind. No one else can silence the voice of fear and doubt that has echoed in your soul for far too long. Only you can do that. Only you can make the choice to believe that you are more than your past. Only you can make the choice to rise above your circumstances. Only you can make the choice to stop living in fear and start walking in faith. And when you make that choice, when you decide to change the way you see yourself, the chains will break, the fear will flee, the doors that have been closed for years will begin to open, and you will step into a life that you never thought was possible. My friends, I am not speaking to your circumstances tonight. I am speaking to your soul. I am speaking to the part of you that knows you were created for more. I am speaking to the dreams that have been buried within you. I am speaking to the strength that has been lying dormant inside you. I am speaking to the leader within you, the visionary within you, the overcomer within you. It is time for you to rise. It is time for you to believe again. It is time for you to see yourself as you were meant to be. Because when you do, the fear that has held you captive will lose its grip. The opinions of others will no longer define you. The mistakes of your past will no longer limit you, and you will step into a new season of boldness, of confidence, and of purpose. You see, my friends, the greatest victory is not conquering the world around you. It is conquering the world within you. For when you win the battle in your mind, when you change the way you see yourself, the world around you will begin to change. Opportunities will come, doors will open, miracles will happen, because you are no longer walking in fear, you are walking in faith. You are no longer hiding in shame, you are standing in confidence. You are no longer bound by insecurity. You are living in the freedom of truth. And that, my friends, is when you become unstoppable. The world has yet to see what will happen when men and women rise up and begin to walk in the fullness of their identity. The world has yet to see what will happen when people stop allowing fear to control them and start living with boldness and purpose. The world has yet to see what will happen when you Begin to see yourself not as weak, but as strong. Not as a failure, but as victorious. Not as ordinary, but as extraordinary. Because that is who you truly are. You were created with purpose. You were designed for greatness. You were called to make a difference in this world. But it all begins with how you see yourself. My friends, when you leave this place tonight, I want you to remember this. The most powerful force in your life is not your circumstances. It is not your past. It is not the opinions of others. The most powerful force in your life is what you believe about yourself. So I ask you tonight, what will you choose to believe? Will you believe the lies that tell you you're not enough? Will you believe the fear that tells you you will never change? Or will you rise up and believe the truth? Will you believe that you were created for greatness? Will you believe that you are more than your past? Will you believe that you have the strength, the wisdom, and the courage to step into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along? Because the moment you change the way you see yourself, your life will never be the same.